a video called The Dark Side of Ryan Toy's Review. Apparently this is going to get a little bit disturbing. Let's jump in and check it out.
Throughout 2020, Ryan's World took home an approximate income of $29.5 million, making him the highest paid YouTuber for the year, above the likes of Mr. Beast and Jeffree Star.
What?
The most significant part, which I'm sure many of you are already aware, is that
This has got to be old, right? It's got to be a year old or something, right?
Ryan is only 9 years old, making him younger than the Angry Birds mobile game, the film Avatar, as well as the legal working age for a McDonald's employee. $29.5 million isn't exactly a bad wicket for anyone who's yet to go through puberty, and considering in every episode it looks like Ryan is having the time of his life, on the surface it seems as though the Ryan's World channel is the spitting image of perfection itself. However, like all things in life, the Ryan's World channel has a dark side that's rarely talked about in the media.
We try not to capture any moment that Ryan's in distress.
Legal battles to do with not fully disclosing paid sponsorships within videos, the exploitation of Ryan for the financial gain of his parents, and most surprisingly, the criminal history associated with Ryan's mother, Luann Kaji, who in her younger years actually went to prison.
7-year multi-million-dollar YouTube star Ryan Kagi's mother has a criminal past.
In June 2002, when Ryan's mum was 18 years old, she was caught shoplifting at a J.C. Penney located in her hometown of Houston, Texas. The security of the store discovered that she'd been trying to steal 6 items of clothing, totaling $93, which is equivalent to around $135 today. After being taken back to the police station, she would be fined $150 for the theft, given 40 hours of community service, as well as being put on a 6-month probation period. On top of this, she had to carry an offender identification card while also attending an anti-shoplifting program. However, here's where it gets interesting.
Sorry, just want to stop it there. Just want to stop it there. One, the girl's probably knocking around with the wrong people. She's 18 years old. She's just trying to figure stuff out, right? And she stole a couple of pairs of jeans. Lock me up, Daddy! So bloody what? So what? She ain't dealing drugs. She ain't killing people. I mean, at the moment, in this story, they're trying to find anything. They're trying to find anything, aren't they? They're picking a needle in the haystack there, aren't they? Huh? Oh, yeah. I saw her once. She was walking down a sidewalk. Yeah, I couldn't believe it on my eyes. She spat her chewing gum on the floor and didn't even pick it up. What? But that's at this stage. Clutching at straws. Thank you. That's the expression I was looking for. Trying to find a needle in a haystack. That's not really right, is it? Clutching at straws. Thank you, Meg. Thank you for surviving me there. Surviving me. It's hot. Where were we? Yeah, let's continue. At the moment, it seems like, I don't know, I'm on Ryan's parents' side, but things could take a toll for the worst, and we might get introduced to the darker side. It's quite dramatic. Let's go.
Other than simply showing up and doing her 40 hours of community service, she sat around and did nothing.
I was going to say, but she stole 6 pairs of jeans and she was asked to do 40 hours of community service. But other than showing up to do her community service, she murdered everyone. Like, that would have been, what? Okay, I'll take it back. Okay, so she sat there and done nothing. Okay. Oh my God, what a bad 18-year-old.
Didn't report to her
Okay, let's go.
community supervisor, didn't pay the fee she was supposed to pay, and didn't even show up to any of the community service when scheduled.
Eek.
For this reason, she would be arrested again, and instead of a $150 fine and a slap on the wrist, she will be sentenced to 2 months in the Houston Harris County Jail. She will remain in jail for 30 days, after which she'll be released, and from the information available, manage to stay out of jail from that point onwards.
Okay.
Now,
So maybe this is that she didn't have the upbringing that we are all, joyed with today. Maybe she wasn't, it wasn't explained to her that you have to attend your community service, young lady. Otherwise, you will go in jail. Because it seems like she's done that. She's had a slap on the wrist. She's, do community service. And then she didn't go to the community service. So that's when you are punished. You go to jail. And then when she's in jail, she's going, holy hell, this is my lesson. Definitely don't do that again. And it looks like she has learned her lesson. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know.
Making a judgment about an individual's character based on what they did at the age of 18 is perhaps a little unfair. People change a lot in 18 years, so her going to jail could be totally discountable. But at the same time, I think it'd be unwise to pass it off altogether as, oh, she was just young and dumb. It's not exactly like she was 13 years old stealing some food because she needed to eat and didn't have any money. She was 18 years old and going out of her way to steal expensive clothing, something that's more of a luxury than a necessity.
How many of you guys have ever stole anything in your life? I can raise my hand. I used to nick some stuff. Hell yeah, I was young, running around stupid with my mates. We used to do it all the time. Like, so what? We used to go to WH Smith and see how many of them smelly. Do you remember the smelly gel pens? We used to go in there and see how many of them we could nick. I'd just chuck them in our pockets and walk out. Just a little buzz, you know. And then you hear that there's people doing it all the time and earning money from it, and you're like, what the hell? And then you hear that somebody's done it and been caught and been taken to jail or whatever's happened. You're like, I'm never doing that again. But you are young and dumb. You're just experimenting with stupid shit. You're like, oh man, like this is such a patronizing video so far. They're pointing fingers at an 18-year-old that's done one thing wrong, and they're at the moment basing everything on that. But yeah, it's stupid. Slips in the bag. Never stole anything in my life other than boys' hearts. Wow. Massive. I used to steal thongs from Tammy Girl. I mean, that's probably pretty easy to steal, right? Because they're quite small in terms of material. So what? I mean, if girls wear bras, if you are a girl that wears a bra, surely you could just stick a couple of thongs around the cuppage and just walk out. They can't search down there. They can't go down there, can they? Is that allowed? I don't know. Woolies pick and mix was my fav. Woolies pick, yeah, just go in there and just get a bag. Walk out. It's fine, isn't it? Did 10 years community service myself. Are you referring to being married to your ex-wife? Interesting. Let's carry on.
Then, as mentioned, she would go on to double down on her mistake by failing to comply with the consequences. She just ignored them, giving us an insight into her character at a younger age. Perhaps this is a far-fetched assumption, but maybe we could also say that it showed us she had an innate willingness to cut corners in order to get what she wants, which will be an important factor for later parts in the video. After this whole prison...
Why did his voice just go so deep? That's bizarre. Victimless crimes. I mean, when you're stealing from a massive organization and it's something that costs £1, I'm not saying that stealing is correct, but you're not harming anyone. No, I used to hang them on a hanger, pretend I was trying clothes on, but wear like five pairs of thongs out of the shop. Oh my god. You're walking out and the security guard's just looking at your crutch like, why have you got such a bulge down there? It's just like, excuse me. Don't look at my bulge. Please. I haven't shaved in a couple of weeks. I'm waiting for a wax. So just leave me alone. Sorry, I'm gonna have to search your bulge, ma'am. Oh my god! You know? It's a good tactic. Meg the Thong Thief. I think you need to change your name from Meg the Peg to Meg the Thong Stealer. 5 pairs. 5 pairs? What? 5 pairs, so 10 thongs? What are you on about? Oh, pairs of thongs. What? 5 pairs of thongs? You mean... Okay, so you say like a pair of boxers, a pair of pants. Yeah. Why do they say a pair of pants? It's only one item, isn't it? Oh, you say a pair of socks. You know what I mean? You say a pair of pants. I'm on about knickers. Yeah, we know. We know. We know you're not talking about bloody flip-flops, mate. You can't stick them down your pants. Alright, let's carry on.
prison saga was over and done with, Loanne would meet her future husband Cheyenne, with
Okay.
whom she would later have her
His
first
daddy.
son Ryan in October 2011. In March 2015, at the age of only 3.5, Ryan asked his mum, "How come I'm not on YouTube when all the other kids are?"
I was watching other people and I was like, why am I not on there? And
Following this statement, Ryan's parents would create the Ryan Toys Review channel and begin making the videos with him shortly thereafter.
Let's go get it then. You want it? Uh-huh. Okay. Put it in the cart.
In July 2015, only 4 months after creating the channel, they would see their first piece of viral success with their video Giant
1 billion views?
Lightning McQueen Egg Surprise,
I'm filling up gas.
which gained 20 million views after only 1 month.
20 million views? Whoa, on YouTube? Mate, you're earning that coin. He's earning that coin! They say they were monetized. 4 months in, they must be, right? Wow. Hey, what's going on, Per?
Following this success, the channel began posting new videos daily, and while this was great for the growth of the channel, it began the discussion about whether the channel was really in the best interest of Ryan, or was it borderline abuse to have the child doing so much work with the money ultimately going to the parents.
I mean, let's just talk about the child's life for a second. Like, it's not going to be the parents that are the ones that are benefiting. I mean, yeah, of course, the parents are benefiting from the money, but it benefits the child and the family for their lifestyle change, you know? I don't know. I think it's a very hard discussion to have a 3-year-old come up to you and say, "Mummy, why am I not on YouTube like everybody else?" You know? And then they go, "You want to be on YouTube?" And he's like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Okay, cool, let's make a little channel. Let's see what happens." And then it kicks off. And then, I don't know. If that was me, I would have the discussion with my child. They said after 4 months, the kid's probably like 4. I would have the discussion with my child and say, "Look, now you have to understand that there's lots of people seeing your videos and seeing your face and seeing mummy's face and seeing daddy's face and seeing our house and looking into our life. There's lots and lots of people that we don't know that are now watching via your videos. They're watching our life. Like, are you happy with this? Are you comfortable with this? Are you, does this make you scared?" And have this real deep conversation with the kid. That's personally what I would do if that ever happened to myself. If they did, I don't know. But I think if those conversations are had and the child's absolutely fine and it continues, then I don't think there's anything wrong with it. As long as there's always a review and, I mean, let's be honest, the kid's not going to be working stupid hours. I mean, the kid still goes to school, right? The kids still go to school? We'll find out. Let's carry on.
There's always been a question of ethics in any discussion relating to kids' channels on YouTube.
Sorry, Sean. That's the issue I had with my daughter. She wants the same, but she's boring as hell. Sean! You can't! You can't say that! Not live on the internet. Jesus. What's going on with these bots, Stace? Thanks for taking over there. Taking them out. I know you're joking. All right, let's go, Casey.
What are the labor laws about putting your kids in videos? Like, how do you quantify the value that they're bringing to the content?
Are there?
Is that value going back to them?
But is the criticism towards preteens making more than $1 million a year on the YouTube platform just pure jealousy from other people who might be in their 40s making 60 grand a year? Or
We mentioned that at the beginning of the video. That's definitely a hot take on this, I think.
Or is there a legitimate case for concern? It's an extremely difficult topic to determine.
Interview the kid. Ask the kid. Ask the child. Are you enjoying this life? Are you enjoying? Obviously, not that aggressively. Like, sit down with a therapist and film it and put that video out there. If the parents are, want to prove that this child is happy and they're not exploiting him, put him in a therapy session where the parents aren't there and have that therapist talk to the child and say, "What's it like at home? How's daddy towards you? How's mummy towards you? How much do they like make you work? Do you enjoy doing that work? Do you know what I mean? The way that therapists would get into a child's head. I mean, the kid's probably, 10 years old now, but at the time, this kid's the one who talked to him. And then the parents can go, you see, shut up, the lot of you. But anyway, we'll find out more, right?
For a few main reasons. Firstly, there'd be channels where the child, being the main star, legitimately wants to be a part of the show, which is apparently the case with Ryan.
What was special is that he wanted his own YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And you have a lot of parents who, come on, pushing their kids out there.
However, there are other channels on which you can tell the kids clearly don't want to be involved in the videos, and the parents are forcing them to appear in order to gain ad revenue.
Cody!
So in order to determine whether Ryan being involved in the videos is a
was
part
that?
of the channel's dark side, we have to...
Sorry, that's a real, it hits me deep in the heart when I see stuff like that. Any video that I see that parents are trying to bring their children into a video for personal gain, honestly, it really hurts my heart. It really does. And that's why I don't really post pictures of my children online or videos. And I don't know. I did it once. I posted a picture of me and my daughter at my sister's wedding, and it is still out there. The picture is still there. You can't really see her. She's got a beautiful dress on, and I'm just leaning down and I'm giving her a kiss on the lips. And no, sorry, I'm not kissing her. We're just really close and we're talking. And some of the comments is disturbing. Are disturbing. Some of the comments are disturbing, and I did not ask my daughter's permission to post that picture. She's only 7 years old, but she has the right to choose if that picture goes out there, right? Because it's potentially going out to a big audience. And I feel so guilty for that. And clearly these parents don't have any guilt because they want the financial gain. But yeah, it hurts. It hurts my stomach. So hopefully we don't, see any more of that. Let's carry on.
First, determine a few different things. Is it voluntary involvement? Is he being held at gunpoint to perform? Does he have to deal with the difficult parts of the channel like editing, criticism, and innovation? How much of the spoils and rewards actually go to Ryan in the present and future? We see comment after comment talking about how they are exploiting him, which would be awful if true. But simply having him appearing in the videos isn't really exploitation. We need...
Okay, so here's the thing. Sorry to keep pausing. Kids don't always feel like doing things, right? So this could be legitimately a thing that happens where it's Sunday morning, kid's tired, wants to just chill. Okay, we've got to make a video today, remember? Oh, I really don't want to make a video. Oh, can we just chill today? Can we not just do that another day? No. Because the YouTube channel needs the video, doesn't it? Do you remember we said? So can we start getting ready because we need to do this YouTube video? And the kid doesn't want to do it. And then on the video appears that he really does not want to be there. That is then to the point of this isn't fun for the child anymore. You know, it's now a job, which it is a career. This is a career for this child, but it's kind of got to be on his terms, man. He's like a 10-year-old kid, 9-year-old kid at this stage. I don't know, 5, whatever. It's a tough one. You're trying to keep us up a schedule, and they've probably got a management company. They're like, yo, can we get Ryan doing another video? Because, you know, the viewers are really going up and we want to keep it up and all this. They got pressure, and I don't know. There's probably a lot of different angles on this, but Ryan should have just stood up and gone, Mom, I'm moving out. I'm going to take my 29 mil and you can suck it. Maybe.
To ask more questions. Now, the first thing we have to establish here in order to determine whether Ryan's appearance is a part of the dark side of the channel is whether or not Ryan is being forced to appear in the videos. Now, Ryan stated that the channel was birthed because he personally wanted to be on YouTube and it wasn't because his parents forced him. However, it's also important to question this statement with a healthy level of skepticism. Ryan was only 3.5 when he was first put on the platform. It's hard to believe that any kid of that age would already be keen to personally appear on any kind of public platform. But I could be completely wrong with that. As shown in the same video, the #1 most desired job for kids aged 8 to 12 is
YouTube star, followed by teacher, professional athlete, musician, and astronaut.
However, if you did a study on the most desired jobs for kids aged 0 to 4, they probably wouldn't have an understanding about the concept of working a job. For this reason, I'd make the assumption that the idea for the channel was more than likely from Ryan's mum. And the story of Ryan just seeing other kids on YouTube and wanting to be a part of it as well is an over-embellished statement to go along with the channel's light-hearted branding. However, while this somewhat answers whose idea it was for the creation of the channel in the first place, it fails to answer the more important question: is Ryan being forced to appear in the videos? In the beginning, perhaps there was a trade-off between Ryan and his mum, where if Ryan's mum got to film Ryan in the videos, Ryan would be able to get as many toys as he wanted. A deal that makes sense for both parties involved. You can clearly see in the beginning that Ryan isn't being forced to appear in the videos. Kids aren't very good at hiding their emotions, especially 3-year-olds. If they're sad, they'll show it. If they're happy, they'll show it.
Why do you want this?
Because I like it.
Oh, is it fun? Does it look fun?
Ryan is clearly happy to be on camera here, and I don't see anything sinister going on in the beginning, except for the fact that maybe Ryan's mum is using the toys in order to get a nice reaction out of Ryan. But as time has progressed and Ryan now has a lifetime supply of toys, using toys as a reward
Look at his
isn't
house,
really
man.
gonna be all
Look
that
at his
interesting
house.
to him anymore. Especially considering he's getting older, which makes me think that unless there's some kind of other incentive for him, the only other way to get him to constantly appear on camera is with a bit of force. If we combine this with the fact that their channel has somewhat of a schedule and uploads almost daily, we can almost be certain that there are days where Ryan doesn't feel like making the content. And
Thank you! Exactly what I'm saying. There's now a schedule. The kids don't always want to do stuff, but he has to because he's working. Let's see. I want to see an example of a video that he wasn't feeling all that. Bloody hell, look. A week ago. So that's 3 in a week, 4 in a week. 4 videos a week. And these are all big videos. They must have a full team behind them with like ideas and props and all this stuff to do 4 videos a week. Bro. Mate, that's like no days off for the kid.
would have to be somewhat forced by his parents in order to appear in the videos, which would be an element of the channel's dark side. However, I could be wrong with this once again, and here's why. Firstly, because as previously mentioned, even a 9-year-old isn't very good at hiding their emotions. If he wasn't willing to appear in the videos, you'd be able to tell straight away. Secondly, Ryan doesn't actually have a very big role on the channel in terms of workload. He's the host and the face of the channel, but compared to the rest of the work required, those are probably the easiest jobs. A lot of these comments that state that the parents are exploiting the son for views must think that this kid is working 15 hours every single day being whipped by the parents in order to get out tomorrow's video. But I would totally disagree with that. He's not going to be doing any editing, he's not going to have to worry about scripting, he's not going to be dealing with sponsors, he's not going to be constantly innovating with new ideas, he's not going to be dealing with sets. All of the hard work is being done by Ryan's parents and their team.
Behind the scene, it's a lot more work than somebody might think. It is very time consuming. I would do all the editing after Ryan goes to bed, so I would stay up several hours.
Assuming all of the back work is done by the parents,
GGs.
each of these videos could probably be filmed within the space of an hour. On top of this, there are videos where Ryan literally has 3 lines, with the rest of the video being taken over by an adult talking in a kid's voice. Ryan's total quote-unquote work week is probably like 10 hours max, which isn't exactly all that bad, especially when considering how much the channel is earning, which brings us to the question of finances.
Revenue is being generated because these children are creating content. Where does that money go? Is it parents that are keeping that, or is it kids?
One of the often perceived dark sides of the Ryan's World channel is that the parents are pocketing all the money. I hope when Ryan's 21, he gets to sue his parents for not sharing any money with him.
How do they know? 1 minute. Let me do so. Guys, sorry. I've banned that word at the end of the bots there, so that should just slow it down a bit. Excuse me. I hope when Ryan's 21, he gets to sue his parents for not sharing any money with him. So has this been proven that this is a thing? Where does this kid live? In a freaking mansion? Where does he hang out? In a swimming pool? What does he eat? Probably the finest foods. Pretty sure that's sharing and being a collective within the family. I mean, they could have a Ryan's World business account that they're all, you know, three-way freaking directors on. These people don't know, surely. You know? Let's carry on.
Him. Now, the level of idiocracy within this comment is immeasurable. Firstly, because I've had a good look and there's absolutely no sources pointing to how much Ryan receives for his contribution. So first things first, we don't even know how much of the revenue Ryan is receiving for his portion of the work. However, let's make some assumptions. Let's assume that maybe 5% of all profits go back to Ryan for him to use at an older age, and that's probably an extremely conservative estimate. Assuming the channel made $29 million in 2020, that's still $1.5 million for approximately 10 hours of work per week, available for Ryan to use at a later date. And if that's...
I don't really like the way that he's using the words 10 hours of work a week for 1.5 million. Like, I don't think he's justifying the fact that this kid is massively famous and probably can't walk down the street without being hounded. Like, there's a lot more that goes to it. Yeah, his parents as well, but they're not going to be bothered about the parents. You know, they're going to be bothered about the kid. You know, so that's why I always believe that the talent should get the higher percentage, because they are the ones that are going to live with it for life if it continues, right? And even if it doesn't, there's still going to be that thing there that they could potentially be hounded down the street, walking down the street, and that's for life. And that's what you get the money for, you know? Not for the work you do, not for the hours you do. It's for the life job of being a influencer, a creator, a celebrity, you know? You're constantly working. You can't just go down the shop. This kid can't just, when he's older, go down the shop, he's going to get hounded. That's my opinion.
That's the case, I can't really see how that's such a negative. He'll never have to work a crappy first job that he hates. He'll never have to take out a loan just to go to college. Even if only 1% of the profit goes to Ryan, that's still $300,000 a year in his name at the age of 9. And while as long as Ryan is being paid enough to set him up for life, it's hard to see any problems there. However, a problem might raise when you examine how the money is being earned, another element that's been associated with the dark side of the channel. In September 2019, a complaint was filed to the Federal Trade Commission, claiming that the sponsored videos feel too authentic and cannot be distinguished from unsponsored content. At the time, it was revealed that around 90% of Ryan's World's videos contained sponsored content, all of which being targeted to preschoolers who were too young to distinguish between a sponsored video and a review. Ryan's parents responded by saying that the well-being of our viewers is always a top priority for us. We strictly follow all platforms' terms of service and all existing laws and regulations, including advertising disclosure statements. And I guess this one as a whole is just another question of ethics. To what extent should they reveal to their audience that what they're watching is sponsored?
I mean, by the advertising law, whatever the abbreviation is, you do have to announce that you are advertising a product. You are sponsored by a product. You can't fake it in the videos that you are not being paid. You are not an affiliate, or you are not, you know, associated with some sort of brand or company. Because you need to make people aware that they're about to be sold into an idea of a product or something that, you know, they're potentially going to want to buy, you know. And also with children as well, that, you know, I think there was a comment earlier about like McDonald's and stuff like that they're sponsored by McDonald's, so they're always there. That is quite bad, because then it's like, I want to do what Ryan's doing. I want to go to McDonald's. I don't want to go to McDonald's. And, you know, parents are like, okay, it's a treat. Come on then. And it's more of a regular thing. I feel like if they were to like to say, today's episode is sponsored by McDonald's, it's kind of like the parents can go, okay, I get it. That's why you're at McDonald's. Okay. I want to go to Ryan. I want to do what Ryan does because he goes to McDonald's. No, that they are working with McDonald's. Do you know what I mean? It's more of a reasoning and just a different mindset, but I don't know. I mean, on another level, they shouldn't be working with McDonald's with their children because children watch it and want to do what they're doing. But that's just my opinion. Meg the Peg says they could have put money in a bank account for him though. Do you mean like a separate account? I'll set him up a separate account. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, but if you have a business account and you are shared directors, then you all own a certain percentage. So it's the same thing, really. If he earns 33.3% of a business, at any point he can go, cool, I want to take my cut, and he can. When he's of age, obviously. But yeah, not a bad shout. Not a bad shout. Hey, what's going on, Shell? How are you? Let's carry on.
Will it even make a difference considering it's stated that kids younger than the age of 8 or 9 cannot recognize advertising within media? Many reviews of the Ryan's World channel state that the content targets your toddlers like cigarette companies. Should advertising be disallowed within the videos altogether? What incentive would Ryan's World have to continue making content if they completely removed sponsors? A natural element of the channel...
The billions of views that they're receiving and the millions of ad revenue, maybe that's an incentive? Not saying that you shouldn't do sponsored videos because, you know, there's more coin, great, but I think there's a big incentive there to keep making the videos. Why are we going to keep making these videos? Because we're earning millions of dollars? Yeah, I suppose that's quite a good incentive. Yeah, let's carry on.
Channel's dark side is that in order for the creation of the content to be worth it, they kind of have to advertise to kids. And if parents want to distract their kids with YouTube content, they have to bear the brunt of having their kids advertised to. All in all, I think this might be one where you guys have to draw your own conclusion as to the shade of black that permeates the dark side of the Ryan's World channel. Is Ryan being exploited for the financial gain of his parents? Or is it reasonable as long as he's receiving a cut of the pie? Is it ethical to continue sponsorships to an audience too young to understand that they're being advertised to? Does the criminal history of Luan Kaji make an impact on how the channel is run today? It'd be safe to say that their practices aren't perfect.
I'm sorry, that pitch is ridiculous. They're bringing up the picture of the 18-year-old mum again. Like, come on, man, Jesus Christ.
But hey, for the many parents out there that appreciate his ability to stop their child from crying, Ryan's World has its place on the platform, perfect practices or not.
I think anything in this sort of situation, you need to just talk to the child. The child needs to go to a therapist or a shrink and have a conversation with the shrink and have it recorded secretly with the parents not there. Secretly, I'm meaning from Ryan. And ask the child, how are you? Like, are you happy? How does mummy treat you? How does daddy treat you? Do they push you into stuff? You know, that's the sort of thing. That's the sort of thing, because I think the most important thing is, are you happy what you're doing?